Hello there! You are watching Chapter 19 of my TearRing Saga Champions of Utena low turn count playthrough. In this chapter, Runan is taking a break from his hard march against the Empire of Canaan and diverting north to a hidden village. This is where the descendants of the old Fire Sage are hiding out, but they have come under attack by the cult of Gurxel, and we're going to step in and deal with that. The map itself is a fairly simple siege objective, but there are quite a few enemies between us and the gate, so we're going to have to adopt a fairly defensive formation on the first turn in order to prevent Runan from getting killed off. There are a number of houses all over this map that provide side objectives, but because of how fast we're going in this run, I'm not going to be able to pick up any of those. This is the last map in the game in which we can deploy Zeeg, which is kind of upsetting because he's been very helpful. I'm dumping his inventory into the convoy, even though I'm fairly sure that it goes in there automatically once he leaves. Anyway, Zeeg will be missed, but don't worry because we haven't seen the last of him in this run, not by a long shot. The enemies that we have to worry about in this chapter are a group of Shadow Lancers and Shadow Mages, who will block off our route to the siege point. Of those, the more dangerous ones are the Shadow Mages, so Raffin is going to kill off one of those in order to make the enemy phase much safer for our group. There are also a number of Entombed on this map, and they are often used in LTCs and speedruns to get Runan a fair chunk of experience points in this map. But I'm not going to be doing that because Runan has what he needs for this run. Instead, I'm going to be feeding a couple of the Entombed into Tom using his arrow spade, because he still needs as much skill as possible. I'm also sending Marielle over to the right from her starting position in order to pick up one monster kill on enemy phase. Marielle obviously isn't getting anywhere near level 10, but at this stage of recording I was still hopeful. That covers pretty much all of the salient strategic points in this map, so let's talk about the green unit up the top. This guy is Raphael, and he is the King of Welt who has been missing since the Battle of Bolt. Raphael is extremely strong, and generally has absolutely no trouble surviving up there, unless you take a very long time on this map and let him get mobbed by all of the summons. That's a good thing, because he is recruitable at the end of this chapter, as long as he manages to stay alive. Raphael can be recruited during this map by talking to him with either Runan or Sasha, but there's no way that either of those units is going to get to him within the number of turns that we want to clear this map in, so both of those events are going to be skipped. Either recruitment conversation does have an additional benefit for the unit who performs it, and in fact either event can be done either before or after recruiting Raphael, so you don't have to miss out on either of them. If Sasha talks to her father, she gets +3 to her luck stand, which isn't really a big deal, especially compared to what Runan gets, because if Runan talks to Raphael in this chapter, he gets a sword called Soul, which is quite powerful. Soul deals effective damage to monsters, and has fairly high might as well, so it's very good for killing monsters. In addition, Soul has an effect where it heals the user for the amount of damage it does, kind of like the Nosferatu tome. These effects are very powerful when combined with its pretty low mastery and also its low weight, so it's a really good weapon to have on hand. Fortunately, there's no point at which it is essential, so we are going to manage to muddle along without it in this run. The enemy phase is essentially over, and Raffin has done a very good job of clearing out all of the one-range enemies that have clustered around us, and that leaves only one Shadow Mage and the boss between us and the siege point. Raffin now proceeds to defeat that Shadow Mage with ease, and that allows access to the boss. So, for the third map in a row, the unit who is going to defeat the boss blocking the siege point from Runan is Minx. Mince took quite a lot of damage during the last enemy phase, and that's a good thing, because that means that he can reach 100% listed critical thanks to his Wrath skill. That allows him to easily destroy the boss with the assistance of Flurry. But this is where his streak of boss kills comes to an end, because I have very good reasons for the future boss kills to be given to other units instead. It was actually somewhat surprising to me when doing this run that Mince's role was reduced to cleanup so early, because he's always been thoroughly reliable for me. But I suppose that's just a result of different run parameters giving different results. With the boss dead and the seize point exposed for Runen, all that's left is picking up a last couple of kills, and one of those is going to Raquel, who doesn't really need the experience, but I'm giving her a kill here because it's so rare for her to be able to get one, and also because she's quite close to a level up anyway. After that, Runen is free to move in and seize the chapter in order to complete it in 2 turns. In the subsequent cutscene, we pick up Raphael, and I'm going to talk in a great deal of detail about him when we get to use him later on. After this chapter, we once again shift armies, heading back to Holmes to follow his trek north into the Leda Valley. Though before that, we are going to be heading back into Blard, which will be the subject of my next video. That's all for now. I will see you next time.